Good afternoon. We wanted to provide a update on what we are aware of and what's going on here at 316 East Chestnut. As this continues, the Chief and I will continue to provide information to the public as it is available. We are here at the site of what is going to be LouMed Commons. This is the former Community Corrections Center that just about a year ago we announced the demolition of. This is a city project. We are demolishing a city-owned building that is going to be turned into a park. Right now there's one individual who is currently being rescued. It's going to take a while, but here to give a briefing on what occurred and what's taking place right now is Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill.
So here's what we have so far. We have, there were about 6 workers that were on site working on demolition. One of those workers at about 11:40 fell into a void space, and when they fell, a lot of rubble and debris came down on top of them and they were pinned. Immediately, they ceased operations, called 911. We received the call, it was dispatched, and we had companies on scene within 3 minutes. As soon as we got on scene, we set up, we realized what we're dealing with is what we would call confined space rescue or trench rescue. A little bit different than structural collapse because nothing fell. This is something that a person fell into. We have all the experts that do this on a regular basis train on this type of thing. So they set up, the individual that's in there is talking to us. He is Spanish speaking only, but Captain Ramirez from Rescue 11.7 is bilingual and is speaking to him right now. They have got, this is a very, very slow process. So you need to understand this might take another hour or 3 to gradually, because every time you shift anything, that can cause other things to happen within all that debris pile that they're moving to get to this person. Louisville EMS is on site working with us as well. They are going to provide a paramedic. Once we clear enough debris around his chest and arms so that we can start providing medical care, oxygen, intravenous fluids if we need, that'll happen. So we will we'll put a harness on that medic and get them to him as soon as there's enough space to do so. We have multiple firefighters, about 5 different companies that are on scene. Reason being, if you're thinking it's, well, it's one person, one area, we have to constantly move people in and out to make sure that we've got fresh bodies, fresh hands working on this incident. Again, let's see, make sure I get on my notes here. I think that's it. If there are any questions, yeah, this is a contractor. These aren't city employees. This is a contractor. As I mentioned, there were about 6 workers that were working on site. But again, they ceased operations as soon as this happened, called us immediately. We got here in about 3 minutes.
Does he indicate that he's hurt? Is he okay?
So we do not know the extent of the injuries, but again, we are at least able to communicate a little bit with him, but he is pinned. It is a precarious situation.
How far down is he?
So from where he was, he went down about maybe 10, 12 feet. But we're to him right now. We're clearing things around him, talking to him. But again, this is a very, very slow process.
And you mentioned making sure there were lots of people on standby. Is that just to keep everybody fresh, like you said, or how does that process for rescue work?
So it's several things. One is to keep people fresh, but also it is a very slow and tedious process. You have to shore up the area and then very slowly move down, clear things, shore up to make sure no additional debris falls onto that person. So that if you think like a lever, if you think like a lever, you tip one side, but then something happens on the other side. We just have to be very cautious about slowly moving the person out.
Mechanically, can you tell us what's going on with the mast? What is that holding up right now?
With our ladder?
Yes.
Our ladder, yeah, that's holding up some of the shoring.
And you know for sure there was only one person?
One person. That's what we've been told so far, is there's just the one worker.
What happens to the body in a situation like this? Is there enough oxygen going down?
He is breathing, he is talking to us. A lot of that depends on the way they fall, what falls. There's no one way that things like this happen.
Right, because the debris that you're inhaling as well, right?
Right, and it's also pinning the person. So yeah, it's extremely dangerous.
Are we confident we're going to be able to pull this man out alive?
I can't say that with 100% assurity, but we're doing everything we can. We've got very highly skilled people working on it.
What time was this initially reported?
It happened at 11:40, called in at 11:41, dispatched at 11:42. We were on scene 11:45.
This has been a very busy couple of days. We just saw the explosion. How is the fire crews working through all of this?
This is what they were hired to do. This is what they trained to do. They're ready 24/7, and nobody wants it to happen, but if it does, they're prepared.
on that note, I just want to conclude by saying that for all the reasons you just mentioned, this has been a challenging week for the Louisville Fire Department, for all first responders here in Louisville. Yet another example of the heroism of all of them. And a giant thanks on behalf of the entire city of Louisville to every first responder, all the men and women of the Louisville Fire Department, and all the first responders. As we continue to get more information about this, we'll continue to keep everybody up to date. Thanks a lot, and we'll be back in touch. Thanks.
Thank you.